And this is something immensely powerful. You can use it even when there's criticism in your life.
Hey, welcome to our second video in our little series on NLP reframes. In this video, we're going to talk about the failure to feedback reframe. But before we do that, let's make sure we put the little button or card or whatever it is on the screen here, so that if you haven't watched the first part of the video where we actually talk about what reframing is, you can click that button and watch that video. We'll also put the link in the description below. So let's move on. We have another reframe to talk about here.
We do, and reframing in NLP terms is, as we said before, changing the meaning of something. And by changing it, it changes how we respond. Now, some people are notorious, and I know you've run into this as well.
I thought you were going to say I'm notorious for this.
No, you don't do it, but some people are notorious, some people, for focusing on failure instead of learning from it and moving on. And this particular reframe enables you to learn how to move from failure to feedback, which is a very, very powerful thing.
I agree. So when people are focusing on failure rather than feedback, they're basically putting themselves in a frame of mind where they're just focusing on what didn't go right rather than how things can go even better the next time.
Right. And the thing is, if we're focusing on failure, we're going to spend our time on phrases like, what's wrong? How did this go wrong? Why have I blown it again? This is terrible. Why am I such a loser? All of this amplifies the failure state.
That stuck state.
The stuck state, but we need to move in process out of failure into feedback. And this is how we do it. We take new information in, which is the key to the reframe. We begin to see everything that's happened not as failure, but as useful information.
That makes sense. So the key in doing this is what, Mike? It is to label the bad stuff as only data, like you said.
It's just data. It's just information. And this is something immensely powerful. You can use it even when there's criticism in your life. You can instantly dissociate from it. So say somebody's saying, oh, you made this mistake at work, this happened and this happened. And normally you might have been crushed under this. Oh no, I failed again. I've done it wrong again. Instead, in your mind, dissociate. See this all from the outside and switch on a bit of curiosity. Say, this person's giving me some really interesting information here. I should just absorb this and take it in.
That makes sense. So if you're just dealing with criticism, for example, that can be a really useful strategy. You can imagine that you're standing back here somewhere watching yourself get criticism, that other you get criticism, and then it just doesn't feel as emotional. It just feels more like information.
That's right, because as soon as you dissociate and see yourself from the outside having this conversation, the negative emotions will disappear, especially if you create more distance in your mind, even making yourself and the other person tiny if necessary. The negative emotions will disappear, and you can take in everything that they are saying as useful information for your future. So the reframe here is whatever feels like failure, step outside and treat it as data. It's just information. Treat it with a sense of curiosity. And by doing this, it won't shred you emotionally. And you'll also be able to learn a great deal from the experience and do even better next time.
All right. So the failure to feedback reframe is your second reframe in this three-part series on NLP reframes. It'll make your life even more awesome. So remember, make sure you've seen the first video if you haven't watched that yet, and then go on to the next video. Part 3 of NLP reframes. You're going to love this one. Make sure you click on that subscribe button to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on that bell icon so that you know you're always going to get notified of our awesome new videos, and we'll see you in the next video.